And since she's been with the city of Boston, she has made her mark in so many ways. In January, she was appointed Interim Commissioner of Veterans Affairs by Mayor Walsh, and recently has been appointed full commissioner. And in the few short months that she's been in this role, her leadership and dedication to the veterans of the city of Boston has been unparalleled. By going out and forming coalitions and collaboratives with veteran service providers so that we all might be on the same page when it comes to aiding our veterans and their families. She's making great inroads there. By spearheading and steering the newly engaged Veterans Advisory Council, we're moving forward at a rate that boggles the mind. The veterans in the city of Boston are very fortunate to have such great leadership. And ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and a privilege to introduce her to you today on this beautiful Memorial Day. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Commissioner of Veteran Services, Commissioner Giselle Sterling.
By thanking Mayor Walsh, Secretary Urena, for your continued leadership in the veterans community and all the causes behind that. I'd also like to thank Alan McKinnon again and the organizers for such a great event. I'd also like to thank the base Boston Honor Guard. I realized that it was an all-female honor guard, and I really appreciate that because I start all my remarks.
And my favorite, the United States Air Force. Guarding our nation's shores, the United States Coast Guard. A big round of applause for our members of the Armed Services, and also a big round of applause for the Commonwealth Brass Quintet. Wow, that gets it going, doesn't it? We honor service and sacrifice today. It's so important that we also remember those who still stand on guard, those who are stationed in faraway lands, so that we might be free. And hearing those songs, and after serving 20 years in the military myself, and hearing those songs just always brings it back to us how important it is for those who selflessly gave so much and continue to give so much for this great nation. So we say thank you. Our next speaker is Chief Executive Officer and co-founder of Rally Point, the military's largest social network. Served 10 years on active duty, serving first as a Marine Corps Scout and Sniper Platoon Commander, and then as an Army Special Forces officer. He founded Rally Point in 2012 with fellow veteran Aaron Kletzing while attending Harvard Business School. The company is a professional network serving the U.S. military and its veterans, has been called the LinkedIn for the military, empowering military personnel to take greater control over their own careers. I've actually gone to this site, and it is absolutely amazing. The community allows current military members and veterans to connect, explore career opportunities both inside and outside the military, and engage on topics important to the military. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Enon Weiss.
Memorial Day carries a special weight in a country born of struggle and born of war against tyranny. That struggle was fought not by a professional army, but by citizens like yourself. Citizens just like you and your families, who simply desired to have the power to govern themselves. Our country now fights to keep war from its shores. For 222 of our 239 years, our country has been in conflict. We do this not because we want to fight, but because sometimes we must fight. If we are to live in a world where human freedom and dignity is respected and upheld. Our nation owes so much to the fallen who we are here to honor today. People like Captain Ben Tiffner, a peer and a friend of mine, who was killed in Iraq 8 years ago. He was a beloved and talented young officer who can make you smile and laugh no matter the situation. It didn't matter that Ben was born in Ohio and that I was born on the other side of the world and would become a U.S. citizen later. Ben and I serve because we believe in America and the values that we as Americans defend. We honor heroes like Ben by upholding those values, supporting freedom, and by never forgetting the sacrifices made by every generation of Americans who have answered our nation's calling. I would like to finish by sharing with you a quote by President Ronald Reagan, conveying his commitment and his belief in our country. I believe it is just as true today as it was 35 years ago. If we look to the answer as to why, for so many years, we achieved so much, prospered as no other people on earth, it was because here in this land, we unleashed the energy and the individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Today we honor that price, which has been paid, and that we know that will continue to be paid, so that our children and our grandchildren can continue to live freely in our great nation. Thank you for your support. Our military greatly appreciates it.
Thank you very much. Well, we come to that time for our keynote today, who joins us as his ship is actually going into dry dock, which is going to bring new challenges for you, sir. But we're so happy to have him with us today, representing the United States Navy, Old Ironsides, the oldest commissioned warship in our arsenal, and also to help us to dedicate this beautiful cannon, which is a representation of the freedom that we hold dear in this country. I've gotten to know you quite well over the last few years, sir, and your service to the Navy, the City of Boston, Commonwealth of Massachusetts is incredible, and we thank you so much for your service. Ladies and gentlemen, Commander Sean Turner.
Thank you, Brian. Well, good morning.
And Senator Rush did have to leave, but I'd like to thank him for being here. Mayor Walsh, Weiss, Alan, and Nancy Petkunas, who helped arrange for me to be here. I think it's really important that we are all here to honor and remember our nation's brave fighting men and women who have given their lives in defense of our liberty. Pausing to reflect upon the fallen heroes buried here and in cemeteries and battlefields across the nation and across the globe, and putting this sacrifice in context with the unprecedented freedoms and liberty which we enjoy as a result, the enormity of our debt to them is staggering. One of our nation's greatest patriots, Joshua Chamberlain, hero of the Civil War, and from my home state of Maine, is a man whom I admire greatly, and I aspire to live up to his example of courage, leadership, and sacrifice. He had this to say on the subject: "It is not that these men are dead, but that they have so died, that they offered themselves willingly to death in a cause vital and dear to humanity, and what is more, a cause they comprehended as such, and looking at it in all its bearings and its consequences, solemnly pledged to it all that they had and were." We are truly a rich and blessed nation to have such brave men and women willing to lay down their lives, not for their own personal gain, but for their firmly held belief in that most fundamental of American precepts, liberty. Massachusetts' own favorite son, President John F. Kennedy, put it this way: "Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty." While we will never forget the brave men and women who died so we could remain free, for them the struggle is over, and it falls to us to pick up the torch and carry on for them. Robert G. Ingersoll, another veteran of the Civil War and well-known orator of the time, said, "These heroes are dead. They died for liberty. They died for us. They are at rest. They sleep in the land they made free, under the flag they rendered stainless, under the solemn pines, the sad hemlocks, the tearful willows, the embracing vines. They sleep beneath the shadow of the clouds, careless alike of storm, each in the windowless palace of rest. Earth may run red with other wars. They are at peace." As we keep the faith of those who have fallen, we do well to remember the legacy they have left behind. For our Gold Star families, the sacrifice of these fallen warriors is not something which can simply be honored and remembered once or twice a year. It must be coped with every single day. We all know and understand this in our own way, and certainly many of us here know someone, family member, co-worker, who gave their dead also by remembering and honoring those they have left behind.
Thank you for viewing the Sean Folin TV show here on Boston Cable. Gur míle maith ar fad le breanúir an glór. This program was produced in cooperation with BNN TV. So that was the end of part 1. The Sean Folin TV show. Sinna Deireadh Cuite Híon. Deireadh Cuite Híon go chlár seo. Thank you for viewing part 1 here of the program. Hoping you can stay tuned and view part 2 in the coming future.